everyone. Hello, my Amy Burks.
Jackie Moody.
Okay, there's no video. That's fine. Hi, everyone. We're going to wait a couple more minutes. We've got a whole load of signups for people in time zones and things like that. So press record and we will get started. Let's say another minute, let people go on. Hello, Elise. Welcome to my ridiculous office for everyone. I just asked Michelle, should I take my middle finger down? And she said no, because it's part of my personality, for better or for worse. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but at least you're prepared. You have a disclaimer, there will be cursing in here. Michelle, you want to just say hi and then
Yes.
jump in?
I just want to say hi quick. Thank you for joining. I am the CEO and co-founder of FemGevity Health. And, we created FemGevity Health to break down of, today's system, just treating women's symptoms in silos. And we started FemGevity to solve one of the biggest gaps in medicine, which is the complete lack of personalized root cause longevity focused care for women during menopause and perimenopause is exactly when your lifespan starts to shift. And, it's not just about prescriptions and lab work, but it's also about community and being in a safe, supporting, and empowering space. So this is the first of many with Shari of having this longevity circle where we'll explore topics from hormonal health, longevity, relationships, aging, career shifts, mental wellness. We're going to take suggestions from everybody. And, it's whether you're looking for answers, inspiration, sisterhood, or just find, a circle of trust and be vulnerable with other like-minded women. And I am really excited. And yeah, hand it to Shari.
I love it. Now now you all know why I wanted to do this. So for those of you who know me, you know me. For those of you who don't, I'm Shari Teigman. I live in New Jersey. I work in both the UK and the US. I travel back and forth like a crazy person, so you can imagine how perimenopause is affecting that. It's a joy. And I just said to Michelle, this mood and this energy is sponsored by FemGevity because they are my sponsored HRT providers to pep me up and get me back alive, which I very much needed. So all jokes aside, I found FemGevity almost 2 years ago when I was just totally depleted and not knowing what was going on with me. And I've had chronic autoimmune stuff my whole life. So I've been trying to solve this. And I was working with a functional medicine doctor. He was looking at my lab works and he's trying to help my adrenals and all that stuff and 700 supplements on my table. And he looked at me and he said, I think it's time to take a look at the hormones because I can help you, but your body's fighting me to help. So I said, okay, here we go. And, as someone who has explored a lot, I figured it was coming. I didn't know much about it, as most of us. We only find out about perimenopause when it starts hitting, and you call a feather a pickle, like I did yesterday. Amazing. A feather is not a pickle. They don't have anything to do with each other. So my brain was really foggy. So I'm making excuses. I travel a lot, I work a lot, all this stuff. I really need to rest. I'm in burnout, and I'm like, something else is going on. So I was Googling and looking for someone to help, and I found FemGevity on Instagram, and I started with them October 2023. And I can't tell you the difference it made. And listen, it's been a ride. As someone with autoimmune stuff, it's not so quick to solve. So it's been the patience and the love and the care, and for me, the lab work, because there are a lot of companies out there doing great HRT stuff and great menopause awareness, but it's very haphazard. And so you'll go to your gynecologist, which I went to, who I love and birthed my two children, and I grew up with him. And he looked at me, he's like, you're fine. I'll put you on birth control. I'm like, I'm 50, turning 50. You're not putting me on birth control. That's not going to be the solution. So I said, I'm not going to get any help from in there. So where am I going to go? But a lot of the menopause stories that you hear is, oh, well, hormones are always changing. So labs aren't worth it because it's just a snapshot of that day. So you can't really measure it, which I don't agree with. As someone who's had lots of labs over the years, it's a snapshot of underneath. When you have the right practitioner, why do they look like that on one day and look like that a month later? There's a lot of story in between the lines. And that's Michelle's background in general. So when I read about Michelle's background and FemGevity being not just a one size fits all, try this and see how it goes, it's so personalized. And because we don't feel like ourselves, I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't understand what's going on with me. So what am I measuring? It's not like I have an ankle and it feels better. It's all chaos. So having the labs and having the practitioners that Michelle has, who are all patient and incredible and wonderful, and I don't know how they work with perimenopausal women all day long. I would kill myself. I have enough trouble managing me. I realized Michelle and I had a conversation because she called me. The CEO called me to help me with something because she saw something in my I guess my documents, and she called to chat with me, and we ended up in this complete love affair sisterhood conversation, as you do when you find your people. Two Aquarians, you can just imagine. And we were talking about, this whole arena. And what I love about Michelle is, yes, we're starting with perimenopause and longevity, but like what you guys don't know is Michelle's brain is light years ahead of this. We're talking about vitality and entire brain body health and all the things that a lot of the men get and we don't get any because there's so much going on with us. It's not as easy as follow one of the biohackers and take a bunch of pills. Our bodies work completely differently. So this is the starting point to get us out of survival into thrive. And as we had this conversation, I, as a mindset coach, said, wait a second, there's a whole identity piece here that I know for myself. I teach this stuff. I've had my own company for 11 and a half years. I've worked with thousands of people, men and women, and I'm sitting here struggling, not knowing how to deal with myself. And I said to Michelle, the poor practitioners are going to break because it's like a therapy session while quickly looking at labs and changing dosages. We're going to break the system that we're building to be able to help people. So I said, what if I take care of the mindset piece so we can work on who we are, who we want to be at a time of life when there's so much up in the air, whether you have kids who are growing up. I have a lot of clients who are perimenopausal and have little kids going through puberty. Oh my God. I saw the other day a meme that says it's not called perimenopause, it's called cougar puberty. And I am all over that. I love that title, much better rebrand. Or you're like me, I had my kids very young, so while I think I'm 25, somehow I'm 51, and I have a 25-year-old and a 23-year-old, so I'm navigating empty nest and sanity, which is very limited some days. So at this age, we question everything anyway, and our mothers had none of this. Whether, some of us have mothers who died before we got to talk to them about this. Some of us, they didn't talk about it. They didn't know anything about it. They just got through it or made jokes about hot flashes. But, now with all the research, I think there are over 100 menopause symptoms, and they're all chaotic, so they don't even make any sense in a world where women have a lot more years to go. Like, we're not putting on cardigans and heading on a rocking chair. We're high achieving, we're brilliant at what we do, we love all the roles, and it's very hard to juggle when things start changing from outside of us, to check in and see if we still like what we built for our life. And it's a scary time when you think you're the only crazy one doing this. Hence, here we are, so we can all be crazy together. So today's really about who I am now, and it's an honest, open conversation. And as you can see, it's basically a therapy session for me. You'll hear all about me in this because I'm exactly like you. You may have stuff that I don't have, I have stuff that you don't have, but we're all in the same boat together, and no one gave us directions to where we're going. So my boat was spinning in circles, and I don't want anyone to feel alone in this, because even if, like Michelle said, you're looking for help, FemGevity's here. You're looking for inspiration, it's here. You're looking to just know you're not losing your mind, I've got you. So I want to today introduce, as a bigger piece of what we'll work on, how mindset and the way that we think is the missing link between the physical changes we're going through and our emotional well-being, and give you a really powerful reframe to find out what's happening in this season of life. Our generation doesn't have anything to model by because there was no one who's achieved what we've achieved in our 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. So where do we go from here? It's not a breakdown, which is what it feels like inside, but it's a threshold, and we get to choose. And it's not, to me, about reinventing ourselves. It's about remembering who you are underneath all the hats you've worn for probably 20, 30 years. It just, when it all comes crashing with the physical changes, we can't sort through what's what. So the reason why how you think matters more than ever is because the way our brains work, the way I describe mindset is, it's nothing to do with the mind. It has to do with how set you are. So if you have a rubber band and it's stretched and you have no more room, I don't care how many affirmations you do, how many jumping jacks in the morning and playing nice music and drinking green juice, that's not going to help you when your hormones are shifting, your identity's shifting, and you just want to feel like yourself, but you don't know what yourself is anymore. So If we feel foggy, we are, you're not imagining it. So if we can change how set our minds are and understand ourselves a little better, we are then empowered to make better choices and not feel like we're in crisis or I'm waiting to be fine again. Maybe it's just a cold, it'll go away. This is a lot of years for us. And the more research they do, many women start this perimenopause stuff in their mid 30s, early 40s. So now that I understand, I'm like, oh, that's what I felt like. That's why I felt like that 4 years ago. I had no idea any of this was coming. So if we look deeper at this midlife, I'll call it disorientation. Nothing's wrong, it's just very different. And how we can get to the other side without pushing, because pushing doesn't work. Burnout, resentment, the misalignment, it takes a toll on us. You're not just going to be fine in a couple of years. You're going to be so depleted that you won't even love what you currently love. And I don't want any of us, self included, to miss out on life. So I am determined to change this reinvention thing and not start over. If we can understand who we are under all of our output and our to-do lists and our identity outsourcing and all the roles we play, then we have something to work with. So now that I said that, I want you to take a quick check, and you can pop it in the chat or you could just write it down for yourself. What's one word that you feel inside of yourself walking into this conversation? So it could be confused, wiped out, excited by this conversation, nervous to trust something. Just grab something so we have something to work with throughout the class. So like I said, midlife is not your hot flashes or your hormone panels, although they're very important indicators. Identity, loss, shifts, and a chance to come home to yourself. I can now say, I hope the universe is not listening, I'm very grateful for this insane perimenopause stage, because it's making me look at everything and remember to take care of myself and put boundaries in place and decide who I want to be and what I'm willing to tolerate. We all give less shits around this stage, which is probably very helpful for many of us people pleasers. Hands raised. So grab your word. And then I'm going to start talking to you about this identity disruption. So this phase of our life messes with who we think we are. So if you think about when you were younger and you went through puberty, you didn't know who you were then. So it didn't mess with anything because there wasn't a before and after. With this, we have an entire life and things we're proud of and things we feel shame about and experiences in our life. And if we're talking practically, because yes, this phase is emotional, the real shift is happening in your brain and your identity wiring that's also connected to your physical. So this is not just, oh, I'm going to think more positive. You are transforming on every level. So if we don't understand that and have compassion for it, we make it mean that something is wrong with us. And there's not. So I'm going to explain to you what's happening. So FemGevity's got the hormones. Have a conversation with them if you want that. And for some people, whether they can take the hormones or they don't want to, there's so many supplements and so many natural ways, as well as lifestyle, to support yourself if it's not one road or another. So like, find what works for you. So our identity equation works like this. Your sense of self, whoever you are, is made up of three things. The first thing is all the roles that you play. So what you do. Mom, boss, caretaker, fixer, cooker, friend, helper, all those things. The second one is reflections, how others see and respond to you. And the third one, the third identity piece, is the rhythms that we have. So what you do consistently and habitually. So when all three start shifting, which they do at this stage of life, you feel invisible, you feel disoriented, you may even feel broken because where are the pillars in which I stand? Where are my roles? How are other people seeing me? I don't feel like myself, so what are they seeing? And then my habits and consistency, the old bell's not working anymore. The things that kept me together don't work, or I'm not happy with the things that I used to be happy with, or I'm asking myself questions I never did. So you used to know who you were by what you did, all of us. Maybe you raised a family. Maybe you ran a business. Maybe you have a high-powered job. Maybe you took care of everything for everyone. Those roles gave you an identity, a beautiful one to be proud of, even if they totally exhausted you. So I will raise my hand on that one. But now, your kids don't need you the same way as they did. Your job may not fulfill you as much. You're still doing it all, wondering, why am I doing it all the time? I don't know how to get off this crazy train, because without it, I don't have an identity. So then we start getting identity confusion. You're no longer sure what defines you, so you start searching outside of yourself. Well, that friend does that, so I'm going to try that. That friend looks happy when she's doing that. And we completely abandon ourselves. And then our hormones feed into bad habits and feed into stories that we tell our brains. So our psychology follows our neurology. So as soon as our body is doing something, our brain is going to tell a story about it because that's how humans are wired. It's primal. So if I feel depleted, my brain's going to say something's wrong. Oh, you're getting old. Oh, you hate your job. You hate your partner. The kids are driving you crazy. There's so much stress. And then we get caught in the story that then adds to the physical. So it's a hand in hand trip up and it's a hand in hand trip down when your reflections fade. So we know the identities, we all feel that feeling. For years, people mirrored back a version of you. So let's say you were the everything at your kid's school, or the one who got everything done at work with all the titles and letters behind your name. You're amazing, you're so strong, you're always there for everyone, you're the most capable. Just call Elise, she's the one who could do it, or Amy will take care of it. But you didn't see yourself. You saw yourself through the reflection in others. Now that reflection is blurry. You're not the one who texts first. You're not the youngest in the room or in the office anymore. You're not the fixer that people need every day. So without that constant reflection, mirrors all around you, your identity feels unrecognized. Even, well, I'd say it's starting to you. No one else may have seen the feeling or noticed it in you, but you are not liking what you're seeing back or not understanding the differentiation between how people see you and how you see yourself. And so all of this then leads to our rhythms being disrupted. So everything that anchored you, your morning routines, the way that you sleep, even how your brain functioned. I'm a fast brain person, as you can tell by the way that I speak. My brain doesn't work like it used to. So I'm like, uh-oh, I'm losing my magic, basically. So the hormones don't just influence your body and your weight and that tire around the stomach and the achy bones. They impact your nervous system. So your sleep, your focus, your motivation, your self-belief. You're not lazy, you didn't forget who you are, you're not falling apart, but you're chemically, physically, and neurologically recalibrating because you're out of balance. But because it's invisible, and half the doctors in the world tell you that you're crazy or put you on an antidepressant, you question your worth, you question your sanity, and frankly, your relevance in life anymore. Like, do I matter? I can't keep the same rhythms, but you also have not yet figured out new ones that work with you. So you're in limbo, and limbo is terrifying. So when your roles and the reflections and the rhythms are all shifting, your inner compass goes haywire. And that's not failure. It's just that limbo transition. If you're in between identities, your power lies in figuring out your identity if you can learn how to listen to it. So I want to ask you all, you can write it in the chat if you want to share. If not, write it on a paper for yourself. Which one do you think the most? We probably have all of them, but roles, reflections, or rhythms, which feels the most disrupted for you right now? Like, what do you think is the first Jenga piece that slotted out of place while you're trying this tower of sanity to survive? So take a couple of minutes and write down what you feel has disrupted the most right now and how you feel about it. So Amy wrote rhythms for me right now. So it's the consistency of what used to work and what you know how to do. Doorbell's not working anymore. Uh-oh. I'm now all out of sorts. So I can't even rely on myself to be consistent. Elise says her roles, which makes perfect sense. And if you're not comfortable writing, then that's fine. And Michelle, priorities. So it's for Michelle, it's probably all of them mixed together. Is like there's so much to do, which is hilarious because she's wearing a hat that says seek balance. She's just hoping that it will. Listen, we wear the t-shirts. I had a t-shirt on all day today for clients that said do not disturb. And I meant it. I mean, it is what it is. So when we're not sure what to pull first or what to prioritize or how to even sort this, because it happened without us paying attention, we have no way to take our power back and figure out what's next. So I'm going to ask you to do an exercise for yourself. And again, you're welcome to share, but you don't have to if you don't want to. So I want you to finish this sentence. I used to be. So I used to be the one that everyone made laugh, or I used to be so passionate about my work until. Grab what you used to be that maybe was an identity or a role or a rhythm or a priority for you or a reflection from someone else. So we start with I used to be, and then you say, but lately I feel. So I feel like I'm operating on autopilot, like I'm everyone's rock, but I don't know what I'm standing on. So start with the first part of I used to be, and then now what you feel like. We have to ground this in reality and say out loud, even just to ourselves, who we are. We don't have to figure it out. We've got to grab what's happening in real time. Just take a couple of minutes and write that down for yourself. So Amy says, I used to be driven and determined, and now I feel lost and hopeless at times, which is really confusing because other times we feel great and like we're on fire. So then we don't trust the ground we walk on because I don't know what to, I can make a plan for today, and then I'll say I want to make plans on the weekend. By the time the weekend comes, I'm like, who the hell made these plans in my calendar? I didn't. I can't people. I can't get dressed. Nothing fits. I don't want to talk to anyone. Where I was so excited on Tuesday about it. It's so ungrounding. It's so confusing. Anyone else want to share? You don't have to, but you're welcome to if you can. Elise, I used to be the one who held everything together, and now I feel irrelevant. Oh, hand raise on that one. When we're known for taking care of everything and we don't have the bandwidth to do it anymore, we're totally invisible. And it's terrifying. Now, everyone who shares, everyone else inside is like, oh, I have that one also. I forgot about that. Like, you are not alone. I speak to people all day long with this. Ironically, I speak to a lot of men at this stage of life too who have this, but we're not helping them right now. So I get to help them all day long. Okay, so we're sat here with who we used to be and now what we feel. And now I want to take you to what is possible for you. So, reclaiming your inner authority. No one else is coming to tell you who you are now. That's the hard part about this stage of life. We don't have those structures that motherhood and building our career and our finances and our bodies gave us for 30 years plus. So if you've outsourced your identity for decades, mother, wife, leader, fixer, achiever, all of that, moneymaker, midlife asks a different question. And it's very uncomfortable, so brace yourselves. Who are you when no one needs you like they did? So it's a gift, but it's a shitty one. You get to decide how you define yourself going forward. That's your inner authority, not your hustle, not your roles, not your to-do lists, but you. Your decision making, your clarity, even in the midst of the brain fog. So I'm going to introduce to you an idea that I like to teach called reclamation thinking. And it goes like this. I'm allowed to evolve. I'm allowed to put things down and pick things up. My value isn't based on my output, and my new truth can feel unfamiliar and still valid. We are in no man's land, all of us. Michelle said, I used to feel like I had time to myself to decompress and focus on everything else. Now I have to focus on everything else by myself. I used to be able to cry. Look at this. And it's paralyzing. The ironic part is, as women, evolutionary wise, we're at our wisest and most centered now, and we feel the most confused and the most out of control because we grew up in a society where being present wasn't, we didn't get any pats on the back. How much we can juggle is how good we were. So if we allow ourselves to evolve, and my value is not based on output, and Shari speaking Mandarin Chinese right now, and my new truth can feel unfamiliar and still be valid. If you could rebuild your identity from your truth, not pressure, space and truth and presence, what one word or phrase would you choose to define this next chapter for yourself? So it could be peace, it could be present. My word is maverick, like just full expression of myself. Like write a word or a phrase down for yourself that if you were starting from scratch with all of your ingredients and all your characteristics, and you're on a deserted island and no one knows who you are, what would your next chapter be defined by? Feel free to share, or you can keep it for yourself. I know this stuff is uncomfortable, and for a lot of us, it's hard to talk about it because we don't know how to tuck it back in. but this isn't supposed to stay tuck. Just as everything is in transition, if we take our identities with our new personas that come along with the physical and emotional and neurological changes anyway, this is the time. It's before the cake is baked. If we grip to our old identities, everything's going anyway. We're going to feel more alone. So Amy said one word is never enough. Of course not. So two for me, sturdy and powerful. Gorgeous. I love it. So for me, I would say it's maverick and peaceful, which I know makes no sense, but that's just, they both work for me. I want space in the midst of who I get to choose to be. So once you have your word or your phrase, I want to help you anchor it in. It's not just write it down on a paper and then that was really nice what Shari said a month ago, but I have no idea what the hell she's talking about. You're not here to just listen, you're here to return to yourself. So take out your pens and we're going to write a couple of things down so we can translate these lovely words into something that doesn't just stay on a post-it note. Number one, what have I stopped doing that used to light me up? It could be dancing, playing, reading, napping, traveling, whatever. What have I stopped doing that used to light me up that I no longer do? Next prompt is what identities no longer serve me. Now, I understand most of us can't just walk out of the house, meet at the park, and get on a plane together and go to Italy, although I'd love it. But even if you can't change it right now, what identities no longer serve you? Just so that you're telling the truth to yourself. What have you stopped doing that used to light you up? And what identities no longer serve you? No one will see your list, so write all of the things. And the last one is, if I trusted myself deeply, and I saw this as a transition instead of an absolute identity crisis, what would I allow in, or what would I create next? Now, this doesn't mean, oh, I want a company. I'm not saying that. What create means space, new relationships, new connections, peace and time for myself, deeper connections with people in my life that I'd never make the time for, not missing my kids' younger years or being patient with them. It can be anything. Achievement at work. I don't care what it is, but if we come at it from a different place in ourselves, we can actually get there instead of trying to use old energy we don't have anymore with old identities that no longer fit. We're turning the lights back on in us. So like Amy had sturdy and powerful, now that translates into what identities keep you from being sturdy and powerful? What are the activities that used to make you feel the things that you want to feel? And what can you do or allow to create next? So, because there are only a few of us, I'm going to see if anyone wants to be brave and unmute and play here with either what you wrote or share what you've taken away from today or what you've heard, like, oh, I haven't heard it said like that, or that feels really different to me. Let me know if you're willing. If you're not, it's fine. Anyone willing to play here?
I'm always willing.
Oh, perfect. Amy, then Elise, that's perfect.
So do you want me to
Whatever you feel you want to witness to, we're here for it.
I love the prompts. I realize that that I have stopped having adventures, which has been such a part of who I've always been, and I really love, and that I would love to pick up again. Um and that the identities that no longer serve me are, I don't know, like something akin to being meek or incapable, the stuff that has like lived under the surface but become more present lately.
And the one thing I want to say on this is we don't have to go trace and see where the hell did my motivation go, or like, what was the tipping point? It doesn't matter. We're here now and we're moving forward. So let's just say out loud, none of us did this on purpose to ourselves. None of us would do it on purpose to ourselves. This is life change that's out of our control. but how we respond to it, we can take some of the shame and exhaustion about, oh my God, how did I totally forget everything because I was wearing so many hats? Where am I? And then we go into, this whole self-shaming route. Nobody's got the extra energy for that. So it's okay wherever you found yourself and whatever you wrote down. We're deciding where we're going. I know Amy does not beat herself up, but I'm just taking a moment to stop and say, we're not going to allow it because frankly, it doesn't help. And none of us have the extra energy to do that and move forward. So if my ass is on the fence and I've got to pick backwards or forwards, both butt cheeks are going forward and we're all butt cheeking forward together because it's the only way. We can't undo where we've been. Anything else, Aim, that you want to share?
I'm just really appreciating this call and this forum and you and Michelle for knowing that it's useful and that yeah, I think being able to see the difference between and what's felt like a crisis of identity, existential, and that really is just a transition period, and that there's more available, and like the word reclamation felt really resonant. So grateful.
Beautiful. Happy you're here. Elise?
Hi.
Hi.
So yeah, I agree. Thank you so much. It's so good to have like something to call it and a framework.
Yeah.
Like just the three things that you talked about and you know, the yeah, also like reclaiming it just makes a lot of sense to me. Um so what have I stopped doing that used to light me up? I think I used to, well, just something practical was just yoga that I love and I just don't do. And I love it. So why shouldn't I do it? But also just being like more flirty,
I love that.
like just being like lighter
Beautiful.
in my life. Um, and what identities no longer serve me is being a people pleaser and an overachiever.
Amen.
Like
Those
nothing to prove.
very
um, and then what would so, like you say, put a ball down, but then what am I picking up? That's always like two separate things. Um, and I think related to the flirtiness is just picking up a softness. Like I feel like I've had to have this hard exterior and not, kind of as like a wall up to make sure I hold everything, the world up.
Yes.
And I feel like I can be softer
Gorgeous.
because I don't have to hold the world up as much or at all.
To fall or stand with or without us, that we know. Well, now we
Yeah.
know. We may not have known. Amazing. Amazing
Yeah.
shares. Thank you so much. Anyone else want to share? They don't have to if they don't want to.
I'll share.
Okay.
So, some of my, like what I don't do, what I lost myself in, like simple things, right? Nothing profound or moving, but just napping, warm bubble baths, stretching, sitting quietly, more intentional time with my kids, not just in the car, rushing them to sport, and laughing freely without thinking about my to-do list of like everything that every email and personal thing I need to do, and professionally, all my, the list goes on and on when you're building a company. And I think what doesn't serve me is like imposter syndrome, worrying about other people's expectations and other people's approval. And what I need to become is become more in my state of flow, which is, your mental state of deep focus and immersion of whatever activity suits you best, of like ease and enjoyment. I think I've been like on a deep search for finding my state of flow, where it's like your consciousness of just total focus, and whether it could be anything, right? So I'm reworking myself to figure that out, to give a break, because there's actually been studies that, you know, being in the state of flow of 90 to 120 minutes a week completely makes you just like a better human professionally and personally. So,
And great for your nervous system too. Give us a break from this
yeah,
fight or flight
yeah,
that we live in and call it busyness.
yeah.
Amazing. I love it. Can you hear how brilliant we all are and we just forget? We know what to do, we know who we are, we know where we want to be. And no one here is like, I don't know. We all know. We just don't have the time and space for it or understand how to get there because of everything from the outside. So if you are willing, I want to take you through just a small meditation just to kind of ground all this in. So if you're comfortable, you could close your eyes. If you're not comfortable, you could shut your camera. If you're not a meditator, just hang out here and listen to everyone else breathe. It's totally fine. So feel free to close your eyes and take a couple of deep breaths. Feel your feet on the ground and actually breathe, not that shallow breathing, like deep breath in, hold it for a second, and then exhale. And as you feel yourself landing on the chair, with every breath in and out, pull back the pieces of you that you left behind. The part that danced this crazy life without any consciousness attached because we were all too busy. The parts that say no and actually mean it. The parts that don't apologize for needing joy and peace and playfulness and flirtiness and adventure. And let those pieces of you return. Michelle, yawning is good. It shifts energy. It's good. You got it.
Sorry.
Oh, it
So
means
tired.
it's working. That's what happens. You're settling. So I want the pieces of you to return, not as memories or just this little 5-year-old girl you're never going to be again, but as the truths that you have forgotten over time. You haven't disappeared. You've just been buried under everyone else's shoulds. And today you're choosing to come back to yourself, to honor what you need, to do what it takes, whether it means the practical stuff like looking at hormones and supplements and your sleep cycle, or saying no to things you don't want to do anymore, or spending time with the people who do understand you and who do work at your pace and understand if you scheduled on Tuesday and need to cancel on Friday and reschedule for the following Tuesday. So if you can choose to come back to yourself, and you can come back to this moment anytime you want, so just feel where you are and anchor it in, like feel your body calm down, your stomach, your solar plexus, your throat, all the places that we hold the truth we don't say out loud, to make peace, to make everything okay for everyone, or to fake a life because we don't know what we're doing anymore. You can come back to this moment and these words that you've intentionally chosen for yourself at any time. So just take a couple more minutes here and just land back inside of yourself and know that while it may not feel like anything's possible, when we shift our identities, new possibilities, new serendipity, new people, new communities like this pop up and give us the space to find the answers and the freedom and the ability to just be okay in transition, because it's so much better than forcing things that no longer work for us, waiting to be saved by something from the outside. Take a couple more breaths, and then we're going to open our eyes and just do a couple of closing questions. When you feel ready, you can open your eyes. There you go. Just wanted to land it a little bit. So a couple of closing questions for you. Again, you can share or you can keep it to yourself. What came up for you today that surprised you the most? Either in something that I said or in an answer you wrote down, like, ooh, I didn't even know that was in there. It could have come from what someone else said that you wouldn't have thought of. Remember, this isn't about fixing, it's about remembering. So we want to see where your brain went when I talked about the things I talked about, because there we connected to something you need to access more of. Anyone want to share what came up that surprised you or what you want to commit to going forward? This is class 1. We're going to do lots of stuff about our body and our confidence and our sex drive and our careers and all the juggling and all of that. But like, if we don't start with identity, we're building, again, a persona we don't want. So for today, what do you either want to commit to or share that was surprising for you? So Amy says, I was surprised to realize I'd let adventuring go. Seems so clear, but I hadn't noticed it wasn't here anymore. Hurts. I said to Michelle before we hit record, it's 8 o'clock at night. I start calls at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's been a long day. I work in another time zone. And I was on the couch about an hour and 20 minutes ago, being like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? And I had a 20-minute dance party, which changes my state every single time. And I can't tell you how rarely I actually just turn music on here and there's no one else here. So it's not like I'd be embarrassed. I wouldn't be embarrassed anyway, but it's the tiny stuff like I didn't know it was gone. And then I did. I'm like, oh, hello, me. And lipstick went on, and here I am, and I could go for another 3 hours. It's tiny little state changers that we don't know. Like Michelle said, that search for flow, it comes in like little combination locks of unlocking and resurfacing and slowing down and speeding up just so we can actually feel ourselves again. We're so numb because we're disconnected to our bodies that our brains don't know any clues we're looking for. Anyone else want to share what they want to commit to or what came up that surprised them? You can type it, you can speak it, you can ignore me. Any of the above are fine. How disconnected I am to my body. It's terrifying. I teach this stuff and I have like a floating balloon head, and my body, I forget to eat, I forget to sleep, because we're in such go mode to try to hold on to what was great about us that we go cerebral. I was smart. Where's my brain? Where's my brain fog? The answers are in here at this age. The wisdom, it comes in here. Health-wise, I'm very connected, of course. So like, how ironic. Michelle runs a femtech health company and her brain is running the show. I teach this shit, and I'm sitting here with my hands up saying, I teach it because I make all of you feel better because I don't remember myself. So who else feels numb a lot of the time? Me. The numbness is so we're not crying all the time or screaming all the time or raging all the time. It's like, if I'm numb, I'm in safety masculine zone. I could just go on autopilot and I don't have to worry and I don't have to acknowledge the changes and I don't have to make allowances for myself that feel lazy or boring or out of my identity. Like, I never need a break. Why would I need a break? I just create and create and create, and I can hardly spell my name by the end of the day. Beautiful. Anyone else want to share anything? So the last thing I want to leave you with is the reminder that you are allowed to evolve on your own terms. We are creating this sort of space without overwhelming anyone to know that what you gave yourself for the past 46 minutes was the greatest self-care possible because you had witnesses to this. You slowed down, you stopped everything else that's important in life and said it was time to at least understand myself. If I have self-awareness, you'll now walk around and let this stuff marinate and you'll catch yourself a little faster and you'll ask yourself a different question and you'll check in and say, was I sturdy and powerful or was I exhausted and perimenopausal? Like I know there are great memes out there and funny accounts and lots of things to learn. I don't want this to become another outsourced thing. Like, now what do I do? This account said this one and that doctor said that. You have the answers in here. You can go at your pace and on your terms. And they're wonderful people to help you find what your road needs to look like, both emotionally and physically. So thanks everyone. And for everyone watching on the replay, we're happy to have you. I know your time zones didn't allow it, but we recorded so that you can enjoy the magic too. And I look forward to the next one. Oh, thanks, Michelle. Thank you. Thank you. And I just have to say this. She's going to kill me. Michelle's building the most incredible company from the most incredible vision and mission that's not mine to share, but trust me, it'll make you all cry where this all started from. And I feel so honored to be trusted with your community, with your people. You do such deep, incredible, innovative work. And to be able to bring this mindset piece just feels to me like I feel like it's a dream come true because I don't want to be alone in this. And that's how I found you guys. So for me to get a chance to give back so that it's not just us alone in the world, all of us figuring this out. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Shari.
Lots of love,
Okay.
everyone. Have a
Thank
great
you.
night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.